Hey family, I just wanted to hop in real quick and just have a little bit of a conversation. I won't take too long because the end of year review episode you're going to hear is a little long. It's shorter than last year, but it is still long, right? There's a person that I forgot to mention on the list of those that we have lost this year, right? And again, even though I do the thing about celebrities and stuff like that, this is not to negate family, right? Your family, my family, people that we have lost this year, okay? Tragically, again, there's been much violence in Chicago. There's been much violence all over this planet, right? We all know that the U.S. is constantly giving money to Ukraine. Can't give nothing, never mind, we won't even go there. But again, battles and constant death, right? So there's remembrance, even though we bring up celebrities, right? James Earl Jones. Now, I think I had mentioned in the episode in the year, but James Earl Jones in September passed, right? If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he was in his 80s or his 90s. I think he was in his 90s. What else can we say about James Earl Jones, right? We will miss you, brother, just like most of these people that we just like all these people that we have spoken on, right? Hold folks near and dear to your heart, ladies and gentlemen. Hold them near and dear to your heart, because this life is fleeting, man. Even when you hit 90 years old, when you're talking about time, that's a drop in the bucket, y'all. That's real. That's real, right? But thankfully, we have had these people for as long as they have been in our lives, our uncles and aunts and cousins and grandparents, great-grandparents, some of our families, right? Mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, man, hold these people close. Talk to them, man. Talk to them. Talk to them. Ain't no subject off the table, ladies and gentlemen, because life is not off the table. It's lived every day, right? Get ourselves familiar with what's going on in this planet. Let go of some preconceived notions that massa has given us. I have to say it that way, right? And let's love on each other, man, and heal this planet for real, right? So thank y'all, family. Happy New Year, right? Welcome 2025, and we will talk to you soon. Good morning, family. Good morning. A little early morning edition of A Different View. Family, welcome in us, the 1,000+ strong, ever rising, who believe in, who follow after, who love on, and who seek for that, which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Today, no different than any other one, as we are at the end of the year, family, huh? Man, congratulations to us, family. This has been a year of great success, as well as a year of great loss, a year of happiness and joy, as much as it's been a year of pain and sorrow, right? A year for healing. We started off the beginning of this year, I believe. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the beginning of this year, where we talked about the things in Ecclesiastes, or I at least referenced some of this. There's a time for things under heaven. This year has been a time for healing, as much as it's been a time of wounds that have been created, right? We're going to go over, like we did last year, last year's year-end review. Excuse me one second while your boy gets some water. Excuse me one moment. Sorry if that sounded a little loud in the recording there. My apologies. Actually, while we're here, well, no, we should be good. Nah, you know what? Let me not take the chance here, y'all. Let's just shut the sounds off there, right? Nobody needs to be hearing all that buzzing. My apologies on that. Family, I think as we start here in the first couple of minutes, one, I want to say thank you to the listener, man. The things that we talk about on this platform, again, you go to a lot of different platforms. There's nothing, I'm not bashing other people's things here, but a lot of people are okay saying and doing things that we have heard before, right? Much of this is a back and forth of things we have heard before. Excuse me. Your boy just finished watching the movie Transformer 1, y'all. So much of how we talk this morning is going to be, or morning, right? The evening and the morning was the first day, right? Funny how we're in the morning, but it's dark out, right? So, some of the things I'm going to say are going to be in light of this movie because it's got a lot to do with life, y'all. Right? Anybody seen Transformers 1? It's nice. Your boy is an 80s baby, so there's a lot of stuff there that, it's cool. It's not hearing the same people that I've heard as, say, Optimus Prime or Megatron or Starscream or Bumblebee, right? Y'all, come on one time. 80s heads out there, huh? The 80s folks in the family that know about Transformers one time, right? Talking about remembrance. This episode is about remembrance, right? You got to bring things to your remembrance. So, we're going to try not to take too much time. We're going to end like we we tried to, not always, right? But we tried to. We're going to try to end on some verse, some Bible verse here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to make, this platform is one where people can come as a place of refuge. Going into next year, y'all, I plead, right? The way it's said in the Bible is we persuade, right? Folks start being a place of open refuge. See, your enemy is an open enemy. They make fun of you right to your face. They are taking your money right in front of your face. They're taking your talent, your time, your love, your energy right in front of your face. Unabated, big old word for no holds barred, right? There ain't nothing holding them back from doing it. They're doing it right to you. The thing that is the balance to all that is when we stand openly, boldly, right? The Bible talks about coming boldly before the throne of grace, right? There is a thing to my Christian brothers and sisters, I understand we like to do this lowly, I'm a sinner type stuff. Could you imagine kids going to their parents like that? Now, there's a thing here. And again, like we said, we're going closer to February. So the talk about relationships, especially parenting, romantic relationships, those things are going to ramp up more, right? So some of those you might want to tune into. Some of them may not be for the babies. And some of them will be, right? Specifically, this one talking about this little thing here about kids. Nobody is coming up to their parents talking about they want some new PlayStation 5 game, right? As a young child, or Xbox or Nintendo Switch, whatever system they got. And you being bashful, a new tablet, new phone. Ain't nobody being bashful about it. They coming to you boldly. You gotta be boldly standing up for your fellow brother and sister in this life. While people make fun of them for being black, while people make fun of them for being female, while people make fun of them for not being overtly or alpha male and all that stupidity. You're not a wolf. You're not a dog. Right? So there ain't no alpha involved. Stop believing the stuff that Massa put out there to get you off on the trail. Everybody got varying degrees of feminine and masculine, and it don't make them no less than, it makes them them. Just like it makes you you. Right? We keep chasing the bag, as they say, and in that case, that's chasing the bag, y'all. No, we got to be bold. Stand up for each other. Stand up for each other. On the job, in the church, out the job, at the library, the supermarket. We're being for real, y'all. Life has gotten to that point where it comes to defense. Our gun owners are going to like this one, but defense is a real thing. Now, I will go a step further. Because again, for some odd reason, just like talking about me being an 80s baby, we can't throw fists no more. We just got to go reach for the 9. The Ruger, the Mac, right? All the stuff that's been glorified in gangster hip hop. To our black brothers and sisters, as we go into next year, drop the hate. Drop the hate. We don't need to hate on nobody. We have had enough hate thrown our way. We don't need to hate on nobody. Let that love that was so used and manipulated shine forth in the light, in the air of wisdom and defense to rebuild the damages that were broken. That's real, right? Y'all, this is something that we've talked about this year. Going into next year, this is where we're at, y'all. We ain't got no more time to be talking about who is this and who ain't that, and it don't matter. Raise up the houses of distribution and warehouses and manufacturing, right? Nobody paying your way, us as a community, talking specifically to black folks. This goes for every culture, but we're talking specifically to so-called black people, right? Because again, this is the thing. You saw the skin tone was dark like blacks, and now, unfortunately, we got slapped with black. Same thing with white folks. Y'all come from great places over in Europe and Scandinavia and all this types of stuff, right? Including Greece and all these places. And because of a system, they wanted to throw us all in. Now you're white. You ain't white. That's the color on a page. That's the color of the clouds in the sky, right? Anyway, folks that we have lost this year. How far are we to 9 minutes? All right, cool. So far, so good. All right, so let's go down the list. There's some people that we're not going to know. I am reading off of, like we did last year, I'm reading off of people.com. For those who, people.com really don't twirl your feathers, then so be it. All right, but this is what we're going with here to talk about some folks. There are some people that are not on here that passed just recently, so we'll take the moment there to mention them on the back end. So let's go as we go along here. Just some people that some will know, some don't know, and then we will just go ahead and talk about it. So 1 second to just get to a few of them here. Number 7 on the list. This is out of 62. Again, we want to try to burn through this. Chuck Woolery. Those who know Chuck Woolery, you know him from, again, some of our younger listeners will not. Some of the older ones, of course, maybe some 20s, 30s, maybe 40, my age group, 40, 50, 60. Of course, we know who Chuck Woolery is. For my age group, I was young at the time, right? But he's been around for a minute. I did not realize this. He was the original host on the Wheel of Fortune. I didn't know that, right? Again, you're going to hear me talk a lot about that because there's some of these things on these people I did not know. A lot of let's see, what else? He hosted the Love Connection, Scrabble, Greed, Lingo. Big with the what's the term? Game shows. There you go. Big on the game show thing. TV game shows, right? So there's that part of it. He passed away November 24th. Okay, so there's that. Looks like he was born in Ashland, Kentucky. Shout out to any of the family on here from Kentucky, right? 1941. So there's that part of it. Number 8 on the list, Andy Paley. The reason that I mentioned him, kind of a near and dear thing to me, is SpongeBob SquarePants. Again, you want to sit on the seat of the scornful and start making fun of somebody because they like SpongeBob SquarePants. So be it. Then again, to our Christian brothers and sisters, do not sit on the seat of the scornful, right? Blessed is they. So there's that, right? He helped with the music for SpongeBob SquarePants, and of course, a solo career. Let's see. I guess he helped with the solo career of Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. So he died on November 20th after a battle with cancer at 72 years old. Okay. Cancer is what a horrible disease cancer is, man. That's one thing that we have talked about this year. Health going forward in the next year, man. You know, and this is the thing for us all, as a promise to us all as a family. You know, we ain't got to go biting off super chunks of things to do going into next year, right? But whether that thing be one thing, right? One small thing, maybe one medium-ish type thing, right? You know, so of course, weight loss is always there. Money is always there. Put that thing to the front of your mind. Get off this system, man. Build up money and finances for you. Find out places where you can put your savings accounts for you. Build up things for you. There's way too much big business in this country. We don't control things. And specifically to our black brothers and sisters, we're not controlling. We don't have, there's no areas of distribution, nothing. Our names are on the front labels of different alcohols and different, we got our face on everything, but we don't own it. Huh? Right? This is talking about all the way from the top to the bottom: distribution, manufacturing, warehouse work. You know, we're about giving jobs to those who come out of prison, our brothers and sisters who come out of prison. You got to own that thing to be able to do it, because again, we understand the discriminatory part that's there. You got to have legal and financial representation to be able to make sure these people get jobs. To be able to get jobs and do what's necessary, y'all, so they can live just like you. No different. We understand that, it's talking about criminal things, right? This whole idea with, again, these are just things we've talked about over this year, bringing it back to remembrance. This whole thing with Puff Daddy, and again, I like only doing the P. Diddy thing. I like talking in terms of when I grew up. So from the 90s, dude was Puff Daddy. He wasn't, Sean Combs was Puff Daddy. The P. Diddy thing and all this kind of stuff that's all well and good. There's just a person reinventing themselves for entertainment purposes, which I don't knock, but it just gives me a little bit more of a connection to the person, I guess, if you want to say it that way, for the purposes of talking and thinking on the person. So there's another thing with Puff Daddy. The man needs help, y'all. This is the same kind of thing when we start talking about Kanye West that I've spoken on this podcast before. Again, there's certain thought processes with the man that I do not agree with. Yet, you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Big Mom, our grandparents done taught us that one, right? Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like I've said on this podcast before, which is something that I've heard that brought to my remembrance, but it's a real thing. You ain't got to be smart. We ain't looking for Poindexters or Dexter Laboratory type folks out here and kids and stuff like that. All you got to do is hear the wisdom of our ancestors and elders, man. Like, really, honestly, and go look at things for yourself. What another person tells you is all well and good. Look up and study these things for yourself. Right? So, let us continue. Your boy that's just getting off on cancer there. The next one, Gene Rather. Now last name Rather may ring a bell to some of us, again, that are older on the podcast here. Famous news broadcaster Dan Rather's wife passed November 16th. She was 89. And again, she is survived by her husband Dan. Looks like her son Dan Jack, I guess is his name, and her daughter Robin. Along with their family and so on and so on. So there was that. Let's see. The original drummer of the Bee Gees this year, November 18th, he passed. at the age of 78, Colin Smiley Peterson. So again, if you don't know who the Bee Gees are, since this podcast is on Spotify as well as Apple, I suggest that y'all search the Bee Gees and start listening to the music. As a matter of fact, my wife and I might play a song or two. Just saying, right? So it's got the little note here. As a member of the Bee Gees, he contributed to 4 albums and to several of their hits, including Massachusetts, To Love Somebody, and Words. So the original drummer of the Bee Gees there at 78. Let's see as we go down the list. Lou Donaldson, jazz alto saxophonist. That one's kind of in your boy's wheelhouse because I love the saxophone. Used to play it as a kid. When I get the opportunity, we will be picking it back up again. There's something about the saxophone, man. Jazz and stuff like that is near and dear to my heart, man. You know, it's unfortunate when you study the history of music, as fractioned as the rest of life is, where humans, again, anything is a commodity, where you can buy and trade a thing, get notoriety for something. This is where you start seeing the ugly side of people come out, man. And music is no different. It's not as territorial as we think, even though one part of the world will have a certain type of style and another one will have another type of style. You know, lately I've been looking at some different videos that artist John Baptiste has been putting up. I think it's either John or Jean Baptiste. Cool young brother, braids in the hair and all that type of stuff. And just looking at the history of a thing. You know, how things interchange. Like we think that something, because it's from Europe, is just that. But see, music's another one of those entities. It's art. It's an energy coming from people expressing life around them, y'all. You can't control that to one territory. At some point, they bleed over a little bit. Definitive for the place where they come from, of course. But over time, they start to bleed a little bit. So yeah, Lou Donaldson, excuse me, November 9th, 98 years old. Shout out to you, brother, right? As you have passed on from this life to the next. So that noted jazz alto saxophonist. The next one, number 13, a lot of people may know, especially for us who like horror and thriller movies. Tony Todd, brother, Tony Todd. He is an actor in a lot of horror films like Candyman and Final Destination. Anybody know about those 2 movies? I do. Hey, guess what, y'all? If you on the highway and you got a trailer with some big old logs, we know about these trucks out here in some of these states. They got logs and rebar and whatever they hauling. You may want to be a couple car lengths behind them. Yay, man, you may want to be a couple car lengths behind him, man. So he died November 6th. In California, he was 69 years old. So of course, this is where I know him most familiar from, of course, are these Final Destination movies. Them things, man. But again, it just gets you in tune about the world around you, that's all. Again, like we spoke on last year's Halloween, the world, the spirit world is something that we know very little of, man. And it's all around us. We pay very little attention to it, and we know very little of it. All those movies always intrigue me, right? Let's see as we go on down the list here. Got a NASCAR champion here. I know there's a bunch of folks on the podcast here who like NASCAR, so we'll mention here number 14, Bobby Allison, the 1983 NASCAR Cup Series champion. He died on November 9th. He was 86. So there's that. Number 15. Oh, number 15, Mr. Quincy Jones, right? Quincy Jones. See, again, talking about music, some people don't give a damn. You're okay with the George Strait and you're okay with the rock and roll, although this brother has helped with Matter of fact, I went ahead and pulled up just to put some recognition to this brother's name, right? Again, who has also made his transition. Which artists are the result of Quincy Jones? That's all you got to ask your phone or your computer. Ain't nothing crazy. You ain't got to go. Just to let you know. Of course, some people's minds, there's going to be the main one that comes up in your mind, right? Just Michael Jackson. And of course, another person who left us too soon. And for those who have whatever thoughts they have about people, because again, folks are very quick to write off folks, and we understand we're not giving a pass for wrong here. Okay, but what we're saying is, if you're going to start doing that, then there's a whole lot of artists you got on all sides of the equation that you're going to have to put on the wayside, right? We may want to be a little bit careful. Just saying. Okay. Respect the talent for what it is and go from there. Again, just a different view. So Frank Sinatra here, and again, all these different things have links to them, ladies and gentlemen, so we're not shooting off the cuff here. This one here is coming from this is coming from the New York Times. Okay. Jones arranged Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon for their first studio LP, which was It Might As Well Be Swing. That was the name of that studio LP. Okay. Leslie Gore. Again, we in the 60s here. Okay. So, you know, bear with you, boy. Okay, certain people don't pay attention to older music past, I don't know, probably Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. This is as far as we go, right? Study history. There's so much depth in it, man. There's so much depth in it, right? Leslie Gore. Jones discovered Gore's talent when he heard her vocal demos in the early 1960s. That is coming from the BBC. And there an article that says Quincy Jones 10 songs that explain the music producer's brilliance. Okay. There's Ray Charles here, which is going to go down the list. Dizzy Gillespie. Of course, we already mentioned the aforementioned Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Clark Terry. Here are some other ones that he worked with. Dinah Washington, Sarah Vaughan, Nat King Cole, Count Basie, Andy Williams. I think a bunch of folks know who Andy Williams is, especially if you, watched this TV show back in the day. Peggy Lee, and Rufus and Shaka Khan. Okay, amongst a myriad of others. The brother's very talented, had a serious eye for talent, right? So he died in his home November 3rd. Excuse me. He is survived by 7 children. So I'm sure one or two of them is probably keeping his dreams alive. But again, Quincy Jones passed there November 3rd. Let's see as we continue to go on down the list. For our rock and roll folks, we'll put this in here just because to keep it balanced. I don't want people, because again, the defenses in the mind are very strong. So I don't want this idea of, oh, you're just talking about black folks, KJ. we gotta stop that mess. Now again, if you know there's a group of folks that's been pulled down and left back, be okay with them talking about themselves, right? If the spotlight gotta shine, if the spotlight gotta shine a little bit, let it shine, right? It can't just be this little light of mine. It can't just be that, right? It's gotta be. So Paul Di'Anno, which is the former Iron Maiden vocalist, he died October 21st, and he was 66. Okay, so for those who are down with Iron Maiden, right? Popular rock group. Let's see. We're going to throw he was number 17, number 18, Ron Ely. Starred in the television the Tarzan television series back in the 60s. He died at 86 on October 22nd. So for those who are familiar with that show, our older audience on the podcast. So for some younger people who have, kind of caught this TV show wherever, there you go, Ron Eli. Let's see here. Oh, and some people may know or may not know. Michael Newman, this is number 19, Baywatch star. He died October 20th after being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a horrible disease, debilitating of the body, right? He was diagnosed with that disease in 2006, so he fought through it, right? 67 years old when he passed, so there's that. Looks like there's a Hulu documentary, a docu-series after Baywatch is the name of it. So again, where he talks about this on there. So there's that. Mimi Hines, legendary Broadway singer who famously replaced Barbra Streisand in the original cast of Funny Girl. She died October 21st at 91. Right, so there's that for the sports fans out there. There's a couple of them. Again, one is not on here, which we will talk about here in a moment. Here is one here that is Fernando Valenzuela, right? Famous LA Dodgers pitcher. As we know, this year the LA Dodgers beat the New York Yankees soundly in the World Series. And that hurts as a Yankees fan to say it, but we give credit to where credit is due on this podcast, y'all, right? So Fernando Valenzuela, very influential back in the day. When I was a young kid, he was doing this thing. Little hefty, little chunky, right? When he was young, again, playing MLB, the show 24, they did a whole thing on it. He's always in the game because, again, he's a very, very good pitcher, right? Very gamey, gutsy, especially when there was a big game on the line. This was the guy you wanted, right? So he passed at 63, October 22nd. So, again, for those who are fans of baseball and of course the Dodgers, and again, Fernando Valenzuela, that's when he passed. Liam Payne, that was number 21, was Fernando. Number 22, for young folks out here, we all kind of witnessed and all this just a little while ago. Excuse me, Liam Payne, formerly of the group One Direction, and the song Strip That Down. Good song, I like it. Some people might not, because it deals with people's sexuality being shown to the forefront, and whenever that happens, because people's minds this has got nothing to do with things when they go out of balance. This just has to do with the natural inbred thought process that's there, that as soon as sexuality is spoken of in any kind of empowering light, people normally kind of go sideways with that. Everything has got to stay around a Donna knows best type of thing. I'm not judging anybody, y'all. We're just talking about what it is, right? It's got to be there, and if it's not there, it's wrong. That's just so again, Strip That Down kind of deals with these kinds of things. But again, Liam Payne, 31 years old, dealt with some stuff dealing with substance abuse, as they say, right? Drug abuse, okay? We don't look down on nobody. We don't. Let's see, it says here, partial autopsy revealed the 31-year-old had multiple substances in his system, one of them being pink cocaine. Y'all can go look up whatever that is. A recreational drug that generally includes a combination of methamphetamine, ketamine, and MDMA. For those who deal with this, and this might be a trigger, this is why I put explicit content on the podcast, right? We will probably put trigger warning in this just because of this here, because again, we show respect to those that go through problems, even though we talk about them. Sometimes we bring humor to it that is not in a disrespectful manner. It is to bring brevity to a situation, sometimes to open up the door for people to be able to see and understand some things, right? So again, he passed 31 years old, right? Let us look out for each other in what we're dealing with, y'all. We got to be able to talk to each other. Again, talking about going forward here. Where are we at? 30 minutes. Okay. 32 minutes. So when it comes to husbands and wives, when it comes to friends, when it comes to brother, sister, cousins, all this kind of thing, we got to be able to talk to each other. Let the door open where there is no judgment so people can talk to each other. Lord, man, the stuff that, everybody talk about the devil. They like the idea of this tail pitchfork type of thing. And again, I'm not just, as a Christian, I'm not discrediting an entity that is the devil. But when you look at the definition of devil, it deals with adversary, right? When you look at the word adversary, let's just do this real quick, right? Trying not to take too much of our time because we got champagne to sip in a few hours. we got some stuff to do, right? We got a whole new year to prep for. That's another thing. Everybody who, getting a future plan involved is a real thing. Look in your life 5, 10, 20, 50, 60 years down the road. This may sound daunting, but again, when you look at people who are very successful, they don't look to tomorrow. They don't look just to next week. They look way down the road. They literally you got plans to do that, and we can do it. You got to exercise your mind to do it. You are a powerful entity. It's something that we can do, y'all. It's something we can encourage each other to do, right? One's opponent in a contest, conflict, or dispute. It's what adversary deals with, y'all. Right? Again, adversarial mindset. We're talking about juxtaposition. That's another word, just dealing with truth, lie. They're both, one is an adversary, right? It's a dispute. It's a disagree. Just saying, again, we're just going by the definition. Try to take the spook off things and go by the hardcore fact in front of you. Many times that helps more than just leaving it kind of spooky. So let's continue on down this list. This list. It is an extensive one. Again, I apologize for those I skip over, y'all, but we will continue. Number 27, John Amos. Another brother here who has passed away. He died on August 21st of congestive heart failure. Shocking that a brother is dying of heart failure. Now, this is not to knock this brother who has passed on, who cannot defend himself. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is bringing a light to health, y'all. Watch out for the things in your body. And this is a thing for me, like anybody else. Let's encourage each other to live the healthiest of life possible. Stop putting our money to this mess that is killing us, full of processed, fake food. No. Family, no. It's time to turn it around. 2025, let it be our healthiest year yet, right? No matter whether you're 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, or just starting out in life, it don't matter. Let it be your healthiest year yet where you paid attention to your physical, mental, whole being, y'all, right? Because again, the man ain't looking out for that at all. So if we don't, and if we don't encourage each other to, ain't nobody going to, right? Because again, this adversarial mindset out there. So again, John Amos, for those who don't know what he's connected to, Good Times, right? He was the father on Good Times. Of course, he was an actor in Roots. He was also an actor in the movie Coming to America. Okay. So he passed on. Very good, very, very, very good actor. Let's see here. Let us continue. Okay. Number 30 on the list is Miss Shannen Doherty. So this is bringing up time a little bit more to like my age, the 40-year-old. Because if y'all don't know who Shannen Doherty is, she was a star on 90210, right? with Tori Wilson and Brian Austin Green and Luke Perry, whose son Jack Perry is a wrestler in AEW. The whole gang, right? And all of the mischief and triumphs and pain and all the stuff that they went through, us watching that show every week, right? Helping us get through our teenage years. Come on, those in the 40s, man. Y'all shout out the 90s babies. Come on, shout out one time, my generation, huh? D-Generation X, right? Since they put us sometimes a borderline with millennial when they play with 1980 or 81. And then the Generation X, which is where WWE plays off that with DX, which again, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it, right? Oh, man. So, Shannon Doherty died at age 53 on July 13th after dealing with cancer, breast cancer, that she was first diagnosed with back in 2015, right? So, again, horrible disease. My mother passed of lung cancer, right, back in 2006. Just personal note there. And again, y'all, health. I can't reiterate it enough, man. Health. Let's get involved in that. We hold each other's hands going for manicures and pedicures, man. Do that stuff going to the doctor's office. I'm being for real, man. Again, we use humor for a thing, but yay, go in packs. It don't matter what you got to do, man. Y'all all set the same time to go to the doctor. We going. Doc, let me know what's going on, man. Again, talking about the Apocrypha, it's a shame that we didn't grow up in church knowing that there's a verse in the Apocrypha, which is part of the Bible, that the church don't want to recognize for lots of different reasons. But we'll leave that alone. In those holy books, it tells you to go to the doctor when you're sick. You don't believe me? Look it up. Look up verse in the Apocrypha that tells you to go to the doctor. As a matter of fact, we'll stop right here and now and just look. I always have issues spelling Apocrypha just because I don't spell it that much, but it'll help. Doctor. I want to know, preacher, why we have done this. Listen, this is talking to the healing movement Christian. We're talking to the Pentecostal, because when you start to get to some of the liturgical churches, they say, right, these are the folks that really don't do a lot of the shouting, running around the church. This is more for your fanatical Christian, as they say, right? So again, the healing movement, the faith movement, all that kind of stuff, these are different things y'all can look up online. Again, for those who don't believe in Christianity, these are things you can look up online, right? Sirach, chapter 38, again, or let's say another way, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verses 1 through 15. Now, We'll give you a little bit of just the caption notes, just the Snapchat, well, yeah, picture, right? Snapshot, okay. Honor doctors for their services, since indeed the Lord created them. Healing comes from the Most High, and the King will reward them. Honor the physician for the need you have of him, for the Lord created him. It is a shame. Let me be very clear here to my Christian brothers and sisters. Again, another thing as we go forward into the new year, it's time to look for the truth that's hidden in earthen vessel. Right? I'm done hearing the same thing everyone is saying, because it's only leading to death, lack of wealth, and destruction, distress in your soul and in your psyche. That's all it leads to. Okay? This ain't a knock on nobody and what people believe, but we just talking about what it is. This division and strife, like we talked about, the word strife is just leading to this mess. It's all well and good to quote these verses and speak words of life over you and all that kind of thing. And we ain't saying nothing against that, y'all. We've already talked about how speaking words of truth are very important. That positive speaking is important, right? But at the same time, when you're hurting in your body, go to the doctor. They didn't study. Your friends who were doctors and stuff like that, they didn't go to medical school for nothing. Never mind. Never mind. Let's continue. You know, and in some of these cases, while certain people do pass away from like breast cancers, we're talking about Miss Shannon Doherty here. You know, some people this can avoid. Just going just regular checkups, right? Save your life. Richard Simmons, 31 on the list. Again, people got a certain way of what they think a man's supposed to look like. You skip over the part about the exercise part. You got to be in that gym. And if that gym is not Planet Fitness or whatever the place you go to, again, do it like Rocky IV, y'all. Exercise out in nature. There's a real thing there. You can do two things with one, right? You can connect with nature and exercise at the same time, man. Get out there and walk in these parks. Get yourself a little jog on. Get yourself some good, comfortable shoes, some warm clothes. It's getting colder now. For those who like to do that kind of thing out in the... Hey, y'all. Let's get, again, the other side is constantly trying to hurt you. You gotta help you. We gotta help each other, right? So Richard Simmons died at 76. And of course, for those who sit on that seat of the scornful, who like this word scorn is just being real jokesters, you know, just never taking anything seriously, right? You gotta make fun of everything, right? Oh, he worked out all the time. What happened to him, KJ? These are the things that you gotta watch out for, man, you know? So there was that. He passed at age 76. Number 32 is another one that's going to get people's, you know what, in a bunch. Is Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Of course, when it's sex therapist, right? We all remember Dr. Ruth. See, again, y'all got to get comfortable talking to each other about sex. Oh, Lord, help me, man. I don't care what topic it is, man. You got to, again, we have had so many disagreements and heartaches over simple questions and things that we should be able, one, to talk to our own partners and spouses about. That's number one. You got to have an open, if y'all can't be, y'all are the ones doing the screwing with each other. If you can't be open with each other there, man, it's a problem. It's a problem. And also for other people that you meet along the way. Right? And of course, doctors and stuff like that. We have the open conversations, y'all. You know, skeleton in the closet is overrated at this point. You learn nothing if you ask nothing, right? Seek and you'll find. Ask and the door shall be open. Hey, right? So she passed at 96 on July 12th. Again, age of 96. Number 33. It's starting to get. We're starting to hit a little bit. Shelley Duvall here. Where are we at? 45 minutes. This may hit the 50-minute mark. I apologize, y'all. Shelley Duvall, shining actress. Yeah, she's a very popular actress. She passed July 11th at the age of 75 with complications from diabetes. I'm gonna continue. Crazy Town. Now, those who don't know about the group Crazy Town, look it up. Look up the first couple songs that you find. I didn't know who it was until I started listening to some of the songs. And this guy is popular. He was the front man for Crazy Town, Shifty Shell Shock. This is his name. His real name is Seth Benzer. Okay, he died at 49. He died at his home in LA. No cause of death is listed. I didn't really go into it, but on June 24th, Shifty Shell Shock. Donald Sutherland. Those know Kiefer from the TV show 24. I know Donald from a lot of different things. Of course, we know Donald as the good old antagonist of the Hunger Games. right? Our younger fans, our younger family members here on the podcast will know Mr. Sutherland from the Hunger Games, right? I'm not going to go into the Hunger Games just like we were talking about Transformers 1. Again, for those who have seen it, you haven't. If not, go see. Same kind of idea. Fighting for your freedom, y'all. Somebody thinking that they own this thing, taking your stuff. You got to fight for your freedom. This thing don't have to look violent. Unfortunately, normally, it is the person that's doing the taking that's bringing the violence, and you have to defend yourself. We're just keeping it real. Okay? And that type of dynamic touches a whole lot of people groups. So he passed at 88 on June 20th. He actually played that character very well in the Hunger Games, as well as other TV shows and movies and so on and so forth. Right? Let's go on down the list. Let's continue. There's a bunch of daytime TV, so like General Hospital, stuff like that. Actor Johnny Wachter, who played Brando Corbin. Some people may know this person, some people may not. I just like to throw this in because I know there's folks in the family who like daytime TV. General Hospital, he died at the age of 37 following a fatal shooting on May 25th. So y'all can look that up. Again, to our gun owners, if y'all about gun ownership, then we got to talk about gun control. I don't really know how else to say it. We can keep dancing around it, and that's all well and good, but yeah. Let's see here. We're going to add in professional golfer Grayson Murray for those who enjoy the game of golf. Age 30 in May is when he passed as of suicide. Again, for time's sake, man, how do I say this? I don't want to rush over this because this is a serious topic, man. So we got to look out for each other, talk to each other, man. I see, again, it just comes back to this talk to each other, man. You don't know what you're going to unearth when you just have a basic conversation with someone. Stop thinking people look weird because they got ripped jeans, or their hair looks weird, or they didn't comb their hair that day. They got a little bit more body odor than you could care to smell. We have got to, it'll save somebody's life, y'all. Right. Let's keep on going. We're going to keep on going. Dabney Coleman, number 40. He died May 16th, 92. Dabney Coleman, I know very well from the movie 9 to 5. With Dolly Parton in the gang. If you have not watched that movie, family, watch that movie. I digress. Let's just keep it going here. For our younger group here, we're gonna put this one in here. Chance Perdomo. He was on the TV show Gen V and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. He died, unfortunately, at the age of 27 from a motorcycle accident. I bring this in for two things. One, to tie in our younger people here, because a lot of these folks on here are older. But at the same time, certain things are for real, like motorcycles. I'm not against any form of vehicle transportation as long as it's safe for the most part. But when you're on one of these single type things here, and the way fools are on the road, one, you got to watch out for them, and two, those on the road in your 2-ton vehicle or whatever you got, could we please? I know there's some daredevils out there and all that kind of stuff, but we got to watch out for those on motorcycles, okay? Stop treating them like cars. Give them their proper space on the road. See, I know as soon as I'm saying this is starting to rattle the brain a little bit. You get the little tweaks, right? The butthole clenches a little bit, guys and gals. Let it go. Give them the proper space on the road. Lest you be one on the road filling out some police report because you did something stupid, right? Let's keep on going down this list. This list, man, a lot of folks. 46 is Toby Keith. Again, keeping with this theme of music. Famous country music star for hits like Red Solo Cup. Before I have our country family getting mad at me here. Should have been a cowboy. He died on February 5th from being diagnosed with stomach cancer. It was for those that are in that part of the world, know very well about his dealings with this horrible disease. He died in, again, February 5th. He was 62. Let's continue on. Here. Richard Lewis. Some people know the comedian from way back in the day, Richard Lewis. He died at age 76 in February this past year. Carl Weathers. Number 50, Creed, right? Since we all know about Michael B. Jordan being Creed's kid. Again, the original Apollo Creed from the Rocky fame, and also a soldier in the Predator movies is where I know him from, right? Of course, yes, he was also, they got the thing on The Mandalorian here. He was also a main actor on the TV show The Mandalorian. He passed at 76, February 1st, right? So, you know, some major actors and stuff that we lost this year, y'all. Let us continue here. Let's see who else we find as we roll down the end of this list. Starsky and Hutch. This goes back in the day again. David Soul, who was Kenneth Hutchinson Hutch, right? He died at age 80, January 4th. Let's see. Let's just continue on here. Dexter Scott King at number 58. He was the youngest son of, if the name rings a bell, he was the youngest son of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? And Coretta Scott King, he died at 62 after dealing with prostate cancer. Again, tying in both sex and men's health and health in general. Gentlemen, I know getting your prostate might hurt your manhood a little bit, but the things necessary to check that prostate, you better run to the doctor's office to make sure that thing is right. Let it go, okay? Let it go. If you feel a little weird after your prostate exam, right? That's fine. You deal. Go get yourself therapy, whatever you need to do. Again, we use humor not to make fun of a thing. We're just saying what it is, okay? And then go on from there. So there's that, right? Let's continue on down this list. Number 61 is Chita Rivera, which is a Tony-winning actress. Beloved Broadway icon here, died 91. So that's her at 61, and then finally 62, Wayne Northrup, Days of Our Lives and Dynasty actor. After dealing with early onset of Alzheimer's, he passed at 77 years old, right? So that's that list there in short. As we are here at 55 minutes, we're going to end here with these last two people. Ricky Henderson, he just passed just recently, this month actually, and Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter is the first president to have passed at age 100, right? A lot of things Jimmy Carter had to deal with the Cold War, and helping bring a lot of awareness to human rights. So there's some things to be said about that. Again, you know your boy KJ's unabashful or is not bashful, I should say, in speaking about this system of laws, aka what we call the system that has been made to hurt other people. But then again, anybody who shows a semblance of trying to bridge the gap, you have to give some level of credit, correct? So that's just what we got there for that, y'all. The world, the planet, I wanted to bring this into light here going forward into next year. The world population will be at 8.09 billion folks on New Year's Day, after a 71 million increase. And while the number is down 0.8 from previous years, 71 million new folks. Do not think because you see so much death and destruction that life is not there, because it is, and is very visible. You just got to change the glasses that you looking at life with, right? That's where we're at. Next year, we'll see if DC can bounce back with this Superman movie, as far as talking about things in the movie theater. And of course, this is me. This is me just coming off the cuff talking about this to this part of the family who deals with comic movies and stuff. There's also Thunderbolts, and of course this Captain America movie that's coming out on Valentine's Day. A lot of happenings around Valentine's Day seems like this year, which I'll be looking forward to, and of course we'll be talking about here as a family, depending on what it is. So that's what we got for y'all today, family, right? That was a lot of information to get through. I thank y'all for walking this road with me, but it is important that we pay attention, that we pay homage and respect to those who have passed in our lives and our families, right? We're talking about celebrities, but again, we know people in our own lives that we have lost this year, right? To many of the similar things that these celebrities lost to. We have to be careful in doing that division between the two, because again, celebrity is just a person that you may have known, that you grew up with. Opportunity is the only thing that separates them from someone who is not, right? So that's what I got for y'all today, family. Again, on this nice early morning edition, we wanted to get this out of the way because your boy is going to have a good old time partying, celebrating time changing, right? Celebrating time changing. I hope y'all join with me. And again, thank you, family, for walking this road with me today. And as always, and until next time, number one, happy holidays and happy new year, family, right? 2025, right? To the 1,000+ strong. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.